Friends, everyone loves the bright sunshine and radiant light. But just imagine, what if the sun were to disappear forever? What if there were no morning, no dawn, and every time you opened your eyes, you only saw darkness? Today's story brings such terrifying thoughts closer to reality. The story begins in the snowy mountains of Alaska. We are told that the time is near when the sun will completely vanish. Everything will be submerged in darkness. The residents of the town are well aware of this looming danger. This is why some people have started packing their belongings and leaving the town, while others have decided to stay. We see a man named Eben who stumbles upon a strange discovery while wandering in the mountains. Someone had gathered all the satellite phones of the town in one place and set them on fire. This was shocking. Why would anyone do such a thing? Eben's friends suggest that it might just be a prank, and they should head back home since darkness is about to take over. Eben finds his reasoning convincing, so he decides to return. Meanwhile, a mysterious stranger is seen disembarking from a ship and making his way toward the town. He appears extremely uneasy and frightened, as if he is carrying deep, dark secrets within him. On the other hand, the townspeople are so busy with their lives that they remain oblivious to a sinister occurrence. Someone, lurking in the shadows, is mercilessly slaughtering all the town's dogs. During this time, we are also introduced to Eben's wife, Natasha. She is in a hurry to finish her tasks and leave for the airport, as she needs to catch the last flight to Vegas. However, an unexpected and horrifying incident takes place. A chainsaw cutter, which was lying unattended, suddenly falls onto her car. Thankfully, the driver reacts in time and moves it away. Otherwise, the situation could have turned far more dreadful. Natasha immediately calls Eben and informs him about the entire incident. In response, Eben sends one of his friends to escort Natasha safely to the airport. Unfortunately, by the time she arrives, the last flight has already departed. For the next whole month, no planes would be able to arrive, nor would anyone be able to leave. Eben arrives at the home of a couple whose dogs had been brutally slaughtered. When he sees their condition, he is utterly shocked because the dogs had been killed with extreme cruelty. John mentions that this is the first time such an incident has occurred in their town, and there is no one here who harbors such intense hatred. The town is now nearly deserted, with only a few people remaining, including Eben's grandmother Helen and his younger brother Henry. They both arrive at the police station to assist Eben with his work. Helen informs Eben that she received a call from an excavation worker who wants to show him something. She insists that he should go there immediately. As soon as Eben arrives, pilot Nelson tells him that his helicopter is always kept in the garage, ready for use in any emergency. However, when he woke up this morning, he discovered that someone had completely dismantled the helicopter's essential parts. Now it was utterly incapable of flying. Nelson insists that this has never happened before. Eben struggles to comprehend the entire situation, as he has never heard of such a thing occurring before. Only a deranged person could commit such an act, and it was evident that the same individual was responsible for all these strange incidents. But who was this person? And what was going on in his mind? No one knew. Meanwhile, the same mysterious man who arrived on the ship enters a cafe and demands alcohol. The cafe worker, Platy, refuses, informing him that alcohol is not served there. Upon hearing this, the man grabs her hand in a strange manner. However, at that very moment, Eben arrives and, witnessing the scene, immediately seizes him. On the other side, we see a man named Bar working in the generator room. Suddenly, he hears some strange noises coming from outside. He steps out to investigate the situation, but as soon as he moves forward to see what's happening, an unknown creature attacks him. The creature viciously drains his blood, killing him in a horrifying manner. Everything was becoming increasingly eerie and terrifying. Meanwhile, in the jail, Eben attempts to question the mysterious man and asks for his address. However, the man keeps repeating the same unsettling words: "Close the windows. He is coming. Everything will be destroyed." Just then, the town's electricity goes out, and the phone network shuts down. Friends, if you are watching this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Eben rushes toward the generator room to investigate the issue. But the sight that awaits him there shakes him to his core. A lifeless body lies outside, torn apart, completely drained of blood. Meanwhile, inside the jail, the mysterious man restlessly shifts in his seat, as if anticipating the arrival of some unknown force. In the darkness of the night, all the factory workers finish their shifts and begin heading home. However, at that very moment, the same unknown creatures launch an attack on them, slaughtering them mercilessly, just like they did to Bar. But in the midst of the attack, one girl somehow manages to escape and runs away from the horrifying scene. Eben urges all the townspeople to stay inside their homes. Under no circumstances should they step outside. If anyone notices anything unusual, they must inform him immediately. If anyone encounters any problem, they should report it to him without delay. Meanwhile, the same mysterious man inside the police station attempts to intimidate the three individuals present. In response to his actions, Henry, feeling panicked, throws a plastic fragment at him. Observing this, the stranger smirks and says, "Good. Now I will break out of this jail and escape." Hearing this, Henry steps forward to retrieve the piece, but the stranger swiftly grabs him and threatens Natasha. "Set me free, or I will strangle him to death." Before he could do anything further, Eben arrives just in time and shoots him in the shoulder, bringing him under control. He cuffs him and demands answers. "Where are your accomplices?" Instead of providing a clear response, the man simply mutters, "No one will survive now. They have all arrived. You should just kill me." Eben steps outside and informs Natasha about the situation, revealing that 4 town residents have been murdered within the last few hours, and all the dogs have been slain as well. This undoubtedly is a deeply mysterious matter. Everyone begins to suspect that a serial killer might be behind these gruesome incidents. Determined to track down the killer, Eben ventures outside, but at that moment, Natasha notices something in the distance. She urges Eben to get into the vehicle immediately. However, before they can make a move, a terrifying creature launches an attack on their car. These were no ordinary humans but monstrous beings who appeared human-like on the surface yet were something entirely different in reality. They harbored an immense fear of sunlight and dogs, for these two elements could destroy them within moments. That was why they only emerged at night to hunt. Now that complete darkness had engulfed the town, and there was no possibility of sunrise for the next 30 days, these creatures were free to hunt without any restraint. The savage creatures assaulted Eben and his companion's vehicle. Eben fired at them multiple times, yet the bullets had no effect. Eventually, they managed to shake off the creature by abruptly stopping the car. However, upon returning to town, they discovered that everything had drastically changed. An eerie silence loomed over the area. Houses were burning, and bodies lay scattered across the streets. They hurried to the police station, only to find it deserted. Helen and Henry were nowhere to be found. The only one still present was the mysterious man, shackled in handcuffs just as before. Anger surged through Eben, as he was now certain that this massacre was orchestrated by the stranger's allies. Overcome with fury, he prepared to shoot him, but Natasha intervened, stopping him. Killing him now would serve no purpose. At that very moment, the mysterious man lets out an eerie laugh and sneers, "Those who had to leave are already gone. And now those who wish to come will arrive. So go ahead, kill me. But it won't change anything now." At that precise moment, they all witnessed the leader of the bloodthirsty creatures as he commands his followers, "Now we must begin an open slaughter. Kill anyone you find. And remember, their heads must be severed from their bodies so that they can never rise again." After this, chaos erupts throughout the town. A bloodbath begins and the terrifying creatures mercilessly slaughter the townspeople. Gunfire echoes everywhere, but the bullets seem to have no effect on these monstrous beings. Meanwhile, Eben and Natasha manage to escape and take refuge inside a cafe, where several other survivors are also hiding. There, Eben is overjoyed to find his younger brother Henry safe. Inside the cafe, a man named Guard suggests that they should try reaching a ventilator system located some distance away, which might offer a relatively safer shelter. However, Eben immediately dismisses this idea, knowing that the creatures are incredibly fast, and no one would survive an encounter with them. Just then, a girl named Ginny mentions that her neighbor's house has a basement, where they could all hide safely. The place isn't too far away. Eben finds this suggestion more practical and instructs everyone to leave through the back exit. As they make their way out, the creatures chase them down. These beasts are so powerful that they overturn their vehicle with ease. Natasha struggles desperately to save herself, but the situation spirals out of control. They are completely helpless. However, at the last moment, a man named Bra arrives in a JCB and launches an attack on the monstrous creatures, rescuing them from imminent death. The group quickly takes shelter in the basement, where they gain temporary safety. Now their greatest challenge is to survive the entire month until the sun rises again. For this, they need a sufficient supply of food and water. Moreover, they must take turns standing guard every night because the danger hasn't passed yet. Meanwhile, one of the creatures, Las, visits the mysterious prisoner in jail. He tells him, "The task I assigned to you, you executed flawlessly. But if I fulfill my promise now, it will become a threat to us." In reality, when these creatures arrived via a cargo ship, this very man had allowed them entry into the town. He then systematically destroyed or shut down all the town's resources to ensure that no one could contact the outside world. In return, Las had promised him immortality. However, today he betrays his own word and kills him mercilessly. Elsewhere, Nelson's dog is still with the survivors. Nelson had lost his wife a few days ago and had yet to recover from the trauma. Because of this, he occasionally suffered from sudden episodes of hysteria, causing him to lose control and run aimlessly. The others try to stop him, warning that if he acts recklessly, they will all perish. They must remain where they are. Eben urges everyone to stay close to each other due to the extreme cold outside. Just then, the sound of someone crying and pleading for help reaches their ears. Jane looks out the window and sees a girl sitting on the street, crying. Perhaps she was the only survivor. Natasha insists that they should help her. Eben agrees and prepares to go outside with one of his friends. However, they hesitate for too long. By then, the creatures arrive and drag the girl away. During this chaos, one of the creatures notices Eben. Although Eben manages to kill it, the monster had already bitten his friend. As a result, his friend becomes infected. Now, everyone turns against Eben's friend, ready to kill him. Eben desperately tries to stop them, but they refuse to listen. Left with no choice, he is forced to kill his own friend. When Malou finds the corpse, he immediately realizes that someone must be hiding nearby. He begins searching for them. Meanwhile, Eben falls ill due to the extreme cold. As he reaches a house for shelter, he starts experiencing severe pain. Fortunately, Natasha finds him just in time and administers medicine. 7 days pass. They remain hidden inside the house. Outside, fear and terror prevail. Darkness blankets the town and blood-soaked corpses lie scattered everywhere. Tonight, it is Natasha's turn to keep watch. However, she dozes off. At that moment, Nelson's father attempts to sneak out. Nelson spots him just in time and rushes to stop him. When confronted, his father insists that he was only heading to the restroom and that they had imprisoned him unfairly. Everyone believes him, so they allow him to leave. However, when he fails to return after a long time, Nelson peers out the window and realizes that his father has escaped. He runs after him to bring him back. Suddenly, the noise draws the attention of a creature. Just then, Eben arrives and quickly hides Natasha in the attic. 18 days pass. Finally, a powerful storm strikes. This provides the perfect opportunity for them to step outside, as they desperately need food. Due to the storm, no creatures are visible. They hurry toward a store and make it inside safely. Inside, they encounter a young infected girl. The moment she sees them, she attacks. Henry kills her. However, guilt consumes him afterward. As they gather supplies, the storm subsides. If they step outside now, they will be slaughtered. So they decide to wait. Before long, they notice the creatures searching every house. They must find a hiding place that has already been searched. The police station is the only option. However, reaching it in the open is nearly impossible. Someone must distract the creatures. Once again, Eben volunteers to take the risk. Eben stumbles his way toward the safety station. Despite his struggle, he reaches his destination. However, the creatures spot him. Inside the house, Fabian stands ready with a high-intensity flashlight. As soon as the main door opens, he shines the beam directly at the creature. The light acts like ultraviolet rays, burning Fabian's skin. Seeing this, Malou becomes furious and prepares to strike. Just then, Brumi arrives, wielding a sharp weapon, and launches an attack on all of them. Brumi ultimately sacrifices his life because he knows there is no possible way for him to survive. Meanwhile, Eben successfully reaches the station unharmed. Now they are safe for a few days. However, during this period, a man named Cotton makes a shocking revelation in front of everyone. He confesses that he had concealed an important truth. The little girl they found in the store had bitten him. That is why he now wishes to be killed immediately so he does not harm anyone later. Upon hearing this, emotions overwhelm everyone. But Eben has no other choice. Reluctantly, he takes Cotton away and shoots him. The remaining survivors are now more terrified than ever because the wrath of the creatures refuses to end. However, there is a silver lining. Only 3 days remain until the completion of 30 days. They just have to endure this period no matter what. Eben notices a light flickering in the house across the street. He assumes that someone might still be alive inside. Accompanied by Natasha, he cautiously approaches the house. As they step inside, they discover 3 lifeless bodies lying on the bed. Nearby, a man named Billy sits weeping. In reality, Billy had taken the lives of his entire family himself, sparing them from a gruesome fate. But when it was his turn, his gun jammed. Eben decides to take Billy back to the station since a storm is now raging. However, suddenly, a chilling scream echoes through the air. They quickly hide in a corner. Meanwhile, Natasha spots a little girl in the distance. She rushes outside to save her, but a creature notices her. Eben immediately instructs Billy to take Natasha and the girl away while he distracts the creature. However, Billy unknowingly ends up inside a factory which Eben is unaware of. Somehow, Eben manages to slay the creature and narrowly makes his way to the factory. There, he reunites with his other companions who have miraculously survived until now. Billy also arrives, but he does not realize that a creature is stealthily following him. The monster ambushes him. Everyone bands together to fight it off. However, during the struggle, Billy's hand gets caught in a grinder. Although the creature is slain, it had already bitten Billy before perishing. Now, Eben is forced to kill Billy as well. This marks the second time he has had to end someone's life with his own hands. This realization fills him with anger toward himself. At that moment, he receives a message from Natasha through the walkie-talkie. She is still in hiding. Eben reassures her, urging her to hold on just a little longer. The sun will soon rise. But the creatures have different plans. Malu orders his followers to act quickly, declaring that every last human must be eradicated. He commands them to set the entire town ablaze, ensuring that any remaining survivors perish in the fire. As Eben watches the city engulfed in flames, he makes an incredibly perilous decision. He injects Billy's infected blood into himself. Henry desperately tries to stop him. However, Eben believes that this is the ultimate sacrifice that can save everyone. Now he heads straight toward Malu, prepared for the final confrontation. Malu was unaware that Eben was no longer an ordinary human. A terrifying battle erupts between the two. In the end, Eben thrusts his hand through Malu's mouth, killing him instantly. Witnessing this, the remaining creatures flee in terror as the sun is about to rise. As soon as Natasha sees Eben in this state, she rushes forward and embraces him tightly. He had sacrificed his life to protect her. With a faint smile, he murmurs, "I promised you that we would watch the sunrise together. Let's go." They walk to a secluded spot and sit down. These are the final moments of Eben's life. Gradually, the golden light of dawn spreads across the horizon. As the sun's rays scatter, Eben's body slowly turns to ashes. Thus, his journey comes to an end. However, a single glance into Natasha's eyes makes one thing undeniably clear. Friends, if you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. See you in the next video.